What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flash Fried, your favorite show. We've cut the fat today. We fired TJ finally.
Dude,
Got tired of his lazy bullshit.
Do you feel that, man? It feels like the weight of the world has been taken off of my shoulders.
I can tell you what, Scotty. You know me. I've lost a lot of weight, gained it back and stuff, but I've never felt lighter than I do right now. It's like a big 320-pound sack of bullshit has been lifted off of my shoulders.
Of
the
course,
show can flourish.
Of course, too, you got to remember that TJ claims the reason TJ's not here. Everyone, the reason for tired TJ, as I like to call him, like your Sleepy Joe's tired TJ. It was that he was just so exhausted from being so lazy. He was tired of being lazy, so he had to go take a nap. No, he said he's sick. So yeah, I mean, he said he had I feel like I have food poisoning or the flu or some shit, whatever. TJ just taking a day off.
My little tummy's upsetty spaghetti and I can't do the show. Well, luckily for TJ, Scotty and I, we got this shit handled. We got stories for you. Way better than the stories TJ usually pulls.
We looked at TJ's stories. TJ tried to contribute a few. Me and Paul just immediately removed those stories from consideration. We're going to go with the best stories here, selected by the best people. This is the best show.
Get TJ's influence out of here.
I just feel relieved. I feel relieved. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just feel relieved. Like I'm just waiting for TJ's bloviating nonsense just to creep into my ears, and it's like I'm not hearing it. So I just feel refreshed.
I know, me too. I'm excited about this show. Let's get it going, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So we were just recently missed yet again by another dangerous hurricane. This time on the east. Laura missed us to the west and destroyed half the state. And then Sally hit east and hit Missouri.
Or not Missouri.
You know what I mean?
Missouri. Sally.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Mississippi, whatever.
Yeah, like in Paul's mind, it's all the same shit. It's like, it's the South, whatever. It all sucks.
But here's some stuff on that. So Hurricane Sally, one of a record number of storms that have formed so far in the Atlantic this year, is pummeling parts of the Gulf Coast. After intensifying into a Cat 2 hurricane, Sally made landfall on the Alabama coast Wednesday morning. It's a particularly problematic cyclone because it's moving relatively slow, which means the storm can dump profound amounts of rain on the region. What's more, Sally's winds are forcing surges of ocean water into the coast, resulting in major floods. This is what happens every time the Gulf gets hit by a fucking hurricane.
Oh, dude, we have flooding in the area we live in. There's flooding because of the storm surge. And dude, this storm, do you know how fast it was moving, dude?
Super slow, right? Like
2 miles per hour.
2 miles. Yeah. I remember reading that. So that you think like in the mind of a person who doesn't know a whole lot about storms, like before I knew about hurricanes, moving slow, I would think that like, oh, that's good, but it's not. It means that it's just like sitting in the Gulf gathering strength before it hits, So yeah, not a good thing.
It was intense, dude. It basically came over Florida. It almost had, luckily I didn't go further down in the Gulf, but it almost had like a Katrina-like feel because a lot of people forget that like Katrina came off of Florida basically, went back in the Gulf, gathered strength, and was like, okay, and I'm coming for Louisiana. So, this storm gathered strength quick. I think it was a Category 2 before it even made landfall. So this was like, we just keep getting lucky. Where we're at is lucky, and unfortunately, our luck means someone else's loss. And that's kind of the thing with these hurricanes is like if you get the fucking shit sandwich, that means a bunch of other people didn't get it. But of course, when they get it,
I was telling you earlier that I think my mom thinks that she's praying these hurricanes to miss me because. She always tells me, I always call her, we're fine, we got supplies, we're going to get out if it, and she always tells me, I'm praying, PJ. And like now twice she said that to me, and Laura went left and Sally went right. We got missed on both sides. So I'm sure my mom believes that the power of the Lord is redirecting these hurricanes. I guess I would ask her if I wasn't such a mean ass, like, what about the poor bastards that did get hit with it? Like, you know what I mean?
Fuck them. Well,
your prayers steered the storm into a bunch of other people.
that is true. But you know what? You know how moms are. It's like, if 1,000 strangers die to save one baby, my baby, then it's fine.
Sure. It looks like we got some video here we could take a look at maybe.
Yeah, and it's quite common.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite common for people in this area where we're from, or not from, but where we live, for people that go to Pensacola. So I'm pretty familiar with Pensacola. It's not that far from here.
Yeah, I've been to Pensacola.
Yeah,
as
you
well,
have as well.
so
Yeah.
Here's some footage from there.
Oh, baby!
It's completely waterlogged.
Yeah, Pensacola is very low lying. I mean, there's the city of Pensacola, there's Pensacola Beach. I'm not sure which, if this is Pensacola Beach or the actual city. I'm not that familiar with it, but
I'm not sure either. I know that, yeah, you're talking about the beach, which is on kind of basically an island. You got to take a bridge to.
yes.
And you know all that's underwater.
I would have to
100% of that is
assume.
underwater.
Yeah, I'd have to assume with this going on that, yeah, it would be.
But yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy shit there. Here's some more, I guess. We'll take another little look at some more footage. Some just crazy wind, crazy rain.
Oh. Yeah, this is when it sucks to live on the water. See, the people like, and they tell you like, oh, I have a house in Pensacola. You're like, ooh. Because I'll tell you what, Pensacola gets hit fucking constantly. Like, Florida's one of those states that if you move to Florida, you have to come to terms with the fact that you are definitely going to experience hurricanes over and over and over again.
Yep. Let's see. Yep.
Of course, not to mention the fact that Florida's underwater, too. Oh, Gulf Shores. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, that's actually even closer to here. Yeah, this is right by the Pensacola area.
Hold on. I can't get it to full screen. Let me do it.
Sign in. Sign in. No.
Sign in. It's like, no. Get the full screen here. This is crazy.
Yeah, this was like it's like a parking garage or something. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, underground parking. Fuck, dude. It's just like, looks like something out of a movie.
Fuck this. Oh, damn, dude. It's flooding like crazy. Okay, it's like...
out of this. Whoever this is, I hope they got the fuck out of this underground garage, because this shit could fill up quick and just drown his ass. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Well, I mean, you don't realize, too, it's like with this intense rain... look, it's outside there, so it's like an open-air structure. But, oh, man, there is no fucking way you want to be out in this. This guy is fucking getting... I'll tell you what, that wind is fucking trying to knock him over. He's getting hit. He's probably some storm chaser, I'm guessing.
I would guess so.
Yeah. A lot of them come here because during hurricane season, we get a lot of people chasing storms. Especially this fucking year. Fuck. Ooh, Orange Beach.
This is Orange Beach, Florida. Apparently the day after it hit, and see all these multi-million-dollar yachts just washed up on the shore.
Now their owners are probably happy with their tax write-off, and then of course now their insurance payout.
Yeah, they get a new boat for free. But yeah, you can see it did some major fucking damage.
Oh yeah, you got like a boat. You got a fucking yacht pile up right there.
So, yeah, that just barely missed us. We lucked out there.
Like I said, man, I'm glad it's somebody else, not me.
In some more stories about a lot of liquid. Cardi B files for divorce from Offset, the rapper, after 3 years of marriage following rumors of his infidelity. So that wet-ass pussy is on the market now. What do you think about that, Scotty?
Dude, I think it's gonna be a feeding fucking frenzy. A feeding.
You ready to get a bucket and a mop for that wet ass pussy?
Dude, I'll do whatever I gotta do. I might get 2 buckets and 2 mops, dude. One might not be enough, Paul. One might not be enough.
Who cheats on Cardi B?
Offset. I don't know who an Offset is, but I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
Well, dude, you know how it is. Okay, you know what? Here's the wisdom of my dad, and you can take it for your, what you will. Man that had many beautiful women in his life. I'm not just bragging to say because he's my dad. Whatever, like he did.
No,
legitimately.
your dad slayed puss.
Yeah, he did. So here's the thing. He said, like, you take the most beautiful woman in the world. Let me tell you something about it. I guarantee you one thing. There's some guy out there that's completely tired of fucking her.
You're probably right.
And that's basically what Offset, that's what it is. Like, Offset has so many hot bitches throwing themselves at him that's like, Cardi B, yeah, she might be like, damn, she's fine to a lot of people. But to him, it's like, that's whatever. I know her. We've done that. I got this new girl.
Cardi B and Offset are officially calling it quits after 3 years of marriage. The wet-ass pussy rapper, 27, filed for divorce in an Atlanta courthouse on Tuesday, saying the marriage is irretrievably broken and there are no prospects for reconciliation. Reportedly after finding out that the Migos rapper, 28, had been unfaithful yet again. The pair, who share a 2-year-old daughter, Culture Chiari, is due in court November 4th. So, not a lot of, I'm not going to cover this too deep, but I just wanted to let people know that the wet ass pussy is on the market. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
if this is looking good to you. If you want to get a bucket and a mop, you want her to do a Kegel when it's inside, she can do that shit. She knows how to work.
Just
that
gotta
pussy
say, I mean, like, look, you gotta be a big baller though. I mean, it ain't gonna work. She ain't downgrading.
She was dating amigos. Those guys are rich and then some. So you got to bring some fucking cash to the fore. But hey,
if you got that, you know what? Hey, go ahead.
A man can dream, can't he?
Surely.
Cardi B. Some more Cardi B inspiration here for you, just in case. I mean. Good Lord, sweet baby Jesus, like what do you want to say? Here's some more. Here's a
if you're into pregnant shit, there you go. All the guys have those
porn for you.
Oh yeah, that's definitely served for that purpose.
Yep. Here's some more Cardi B and Offset. I mean, like, dude, this dude had it made. Look at that chick. Offset,
like I said, Offset, he was just tired of it, man. He's like, you know what, Cardi B, I've been there, I've done that. I came, I saw, I conquered. That's it.
I guess so. Well, we can dream.
Face masks.
We'll play this video. I'll just read you the headline. This is the CDC director saying that face masks are more guaranteed to work than a vaccine ever will be.
Great.
We'll take a listen to this here.
Face masks. These face masks are the most important, powerful public health tool we have.
Sure.
And I will continue to appeal for all Americans, all individuals in our country, to embrace these face coverings. I've said it. If we did it for 6, 8, 10, 12.
This is retarded. There doesn't need to be an appeal for the mask. There just needs to be a federal mandate for the mask.
Yeah.
It's senseless. It's like, oh, well, the governors of these states, like South Dakota, in place with no mask mandate, they encourage people, but at the same time, we have to look at it, the freedom issue. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's because it's not about freedom. It's about, like, put something on your face for like 5 minutes when you go into a fucking store. Like, I've done it. It doesn't fucking kill you. Like, so many people have already demonstrated it doesn't have any. It's just like they have a group of people that just believe it's some form of government control, so they just don't want to do it. That's basically what it amounts to.
Yep. And this guy's, his hands are kind of tied because a federal mask mandate is something that would have to come from the legislature and the president, and he can't force the hand. So he's here just kind of telling people, like, look, the safest thing you can do is to put a fucking mask on your face.
12 weeks, we'd bring this pandemic under control. These actually, we have clear scientific evidence. They work, and they are our best defense. I might even go so far as to say that this face mask is more guaranteed to protect me against COVID than when I take a COVID vaccine, because the immunogenicity may be 70%. And if I don't get an immune response, the vaccine's not going to protect me. This face mask.
So let's actually start
the vaccine that the morons won't take anyways. What does it matter? I won't wear a mask. I won't take the vaccine. It doesn't matter with some people. It doesn't matter what. I don't know what they would do to protect themselves. What would they do? I mean, I think honestly, Paul, with a lot of these people, unless their life is in they're basically in imminent danger of dying. That's the only time they see the light and accept medical science. And please save my life.
Yep.
Until that point, though, it's a myth. It's a hoax. It's bullshit.
That's what it takes. It takes somebody they know dying of it, or them getting it and almost dying of it. That's what it takes.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Until that happens, people aren't going to fucking take the shit seriously. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you got the fucking head of the Center for Disease Controls pleading with you to fucking just put a fucking mask on your face. They're cheap. They're easily available. There's millions of them out there on the market right now. You can buy boxes of 50 for like $10. It's like, put a fucking mask on your face. That's all you have to. That's all we're asking. And people are, no.
Right, Paul, we need to fucking vastly fund that AI project you're talking about, and then we need AI fascism.
Oh yeah,
immediately.
Dude, what do you think my AI project is? It's basically an AI dictator that takes people like plague rats that refuse to wear masks and puts them in a hermetically sealed chamber and feeds them until the fucking pandemic is over. You know what I mean? No punishment other than the fact that you just don't get to be a fucking human out in society if you're not going to put a fucking mask on your face.
I mean, that's pretty fair. I mean, like, look, that's like just saying, like, okay, you're here, you're not going to be killed or tortured or anything. It's like, you're just going to stay here until this is over. When this blows over, you know, you're free to come back out and be a dumbass.
Yeah, we got a facility filled with people like you. You can play checkers and chess with them for an indeterminate amount of time. And then when we get this pandemic under control, hey, you get to go back to your life.
Just get them a VR paradise to live in while they're, like, distracted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be like, look, you basically have the Matrix to go play around. You want to be like a dumb conservative redneck and shoot ducks all day or whatever the fuck is you want to do? Go ahead. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yep. I'm fine with that. Maybe even give them an island or something. You know what I mean? So they're even less tortured. Let's just like make a fucking plague island. Just Molokai. Molokai used to be the island where we sent fucking lepers. Let's just make Molokai. Molokai is too pretty though to give to stupid people. Let's pick a shit island. You know, gotta find a shit island because Molokai is beautiful. This one's weird. Bankrupt Chuck E. Cheese parent company wants to shred 7 billion tickets. So you know the little tickets you get when you play skee ball and shit at Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, dude.
Well, apparently during COVID, those have been building up. Chuck E. Cheese parent company asked a bankruptcy court to approve settlements to destroy 7 billion paper ticket prizes that have built up in the company's supply chain as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. CEC Entertainment Inc.'s vendors now hold enough tickets to fill approximately 65 40-foot cargo shipping containers. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Can you imagine stealing those and getting a hold of those?
Oh, fuck, dude. Chuck E. Cheese? That'd be cleaned out.
You would own every Chuck E. Cheese, dude. You could walk into every Chuck E. Cheese and they'd be like, what prize do you want? And you'd be like, yes, please. All of them. Put everything on that shelf in a bag. Here's my tickets, bitch. You could just go to Chuck E. Cheese's and get every prize.
Oh, dude.
Damn.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm kind of sad because I had like my 5th or 6th or some birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and I loved it back in the day when I was a kid. They actually had a ball pit back then.
Yeah, they took those out because they're just disease spreading.
Hey, you know what they say? But there was no pandemic when I was a kid. Now they took that shit away, Paul. Look at this fucking pandemic. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Did they have the band when you were a kid, like the animatronic?
Yeah,
band?
there's the animatronic band and shit, dude.
I loved them, dude. I loved the animatronic band when I was a kid. I had the similar thing, like when I was probably like 8 or 9. I got a birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and it was the best, dude. It was the blast. But it's going to cost the company $2.28 million just to destroy the tickets because there's so many.
Fuck, dude. And they said they're moving to like a basically a digital system, and they're phasing out paper tickets because, you know.
Why don't they pick some children's charities and give these tickets away and let these kids come and redeem some fucking prizes and shit? Like why pay $2.28 million just to destroy them? Why not just donate them to needy kids and be like, hey, we'll open up our Chuck E. Cheeses and make them like a COVID safe environment for these needy kids to come into and pick prizes, and they each get, you know, 1,000 tickets or whatever the fuck.
Because Paul, we're talking about like corporate bean counters versus you actually have a soul. So you know, it's like, this 2.28 million will greatly reduce our debt. You know, our tax bill. Oh, okay, do that. And if they do some donation, it might not do it in the same way. Like, if this company is doing it, it's on the advice of like tax attorneys. This is probably their best bet, is why they're doing it.
Well, that's what it says here. It says it will cost $1 million less to burn and destroy the tickets than it would have to recycle it.
Yeah,
through the supply chain.
Just dollars and cents.
So, yep. But kind of fucked up. Like Chuck E. Cheese is one of these companies that may not survive this pandemic, which would be very strange. They've been around since I was a little kid, you know. So.
I mean, it is kind of crazy, but just so much entertainment has gone into the home media space that these experiences, like, they're still very popular as far as I can tell, but it's just not been as prominent. You know, the crazy thing is, Paul, they might end up, this actually might be beneficial for Chuck E. Cheese in the long run. If like some other company, they go bankrupt, they get bought out, and they just maintain the brand, but they shed all the debt from the company.
Yeah.
So it might actually be, in the long run, this actually might be beneficial to Chuck E. Cheese as well. Like, we never know, because I don't see these necessarily going away, but with COVID, that is a good valid question. Will they go away? Because some parents might just say it's too dangerous, and you're right, that could be the death of it. It really just depends how the market and how people actually respond to it. If people are ever comfortable in the near future, like maybe a year or so, going back to these places, then sure. But I think it's really dependent on what happens with COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It really does depend on what happens. And like I said, a lot of these businesses, especially like Chuck E. Cheese, is one of these that's especially like affected, because it's, you bring your kids here and have them run around with other kids you don't know. You know what I mean? It's like asking to spread the disease.
Any service you touch in a Chuck E. Cheese, as far as a game, it's like, there's been a million kids' hands on it.
Oh, it's a germ factory already, so it's definitely a COVID risk. And like, who knows? Like they're going through bankruptcy right now. I mean, a lot of companies never pull out of that, So
definitely not.
Chuck E. Cheese might be going the way of the dinosaur, I guess.
Fuck, dude. Well, that's kind of sad, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah. In news that everybody knew was coming, Alan Dershowitz, famous Harvard lawyer and famous defender of such high-profile clients as fucking O.J. Simpson and Roger Stone. Retired Harvard University law professor Alan Dershowitz is suing CNN for $300 million for libel.
Seems reasonable.
The lawsuit argues CNN painted Dershowitz, a member of Trump's defense team, as an intellectual who had lost his mind by re-airing a clip of his comments during the President Donald Trump's impeachment trial that omitted a portion of his statement. So this isn't even about his Epstein connections. When I first read this headline, I thought he was suing them because he was outed as an Epstein associate. But no, this is about something that happened, I guess, during the impeachment trial. Following the airing of that clip over and over again, the hosts, together with their panel guests, including CNN employees and paid commentators, exploded into a one-sided and false narrative that Professor Dershowitz believes and argued that as long as the president believes his reelection is in the public interest, that he could do anything at all, including illegal acts, and be immune from impeachment, the lawsuit said. The very notion of that was preposterous and foolish on its face, and that was the point, to falsely paint Professor Dershowitz as a constitutional scholar and intellectual who had lost his mind.
I can completely see. I mean, like, look, he is a lawyer, so there's many ways to interpret these things. I didn't see the clip in question, but at the same time, the media is so dishonest with how they air these clips. I mean, Paul, you saw that with the Milo Yiannopoulos stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's insane how the media will twist and quote mine people. And look, when you're doing that type of shit to Alan Dershowitz, you're going to get sued. I mean, this is a guy that revels in suing giant companies and defending people who are undefendable. He's a lawyer. He's not going to just what's it going to cost him to file this lawsuit? You know what I mean? And he probably won't get $300 million, but I guarantee you he'll probably settle for something. You know what I mean? CNN will start doing the fucking numbers on this and be like, trial or just pay Dershowitz $50 million.
I mean, yeah, look, he doesn't seem like someone that would file a frivolous lawsuit. So if he's got a decent case against CNN, that would be interesting to see how it progresses. I definitely am interested to see if it's just like, nope, this is dismissed, or if it's like, no, this is actually going to go to a trial or something. So if that does happen, I would love to see CNN on trial for some of their bullshit tactics they've done over the years.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other implications here, too. I mean, freedom of speech and freedom of the press implications in this. So this could be one of those, lawsuits that, if it goes to trial, might work its way up through the court system. Because it's,
oh, for
what
sure.
side are you on? Like, whose side are you on here? The side of, freedom of speech and the freedom of the press to express itself and to make commentary, or the side of a person to not be falsely represented in the media? You know what I mean? And where does freedom of speech end, and Alan Dershowitz's, right to not be painted as something he isn't in the mass media begin,
100% agree. Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's hopefully what we get an answer to. But, I think you brought up a very interesting point, too, with it being about freedom of speech, because I can also see that. You can just say, well, look, these people are just expressing their opinions about what's going on here. They're not necessarily making some factual, like, oh, this is how this guy is. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about a narrative, there can just be, I doubt they had a laundry list of evidence. Like we said, that you can edit a clip or to make it look like this guy is saying something. He was actually saying the exact opposite.
See if I can find this clip of what CNN said.
Actually, he's saying basically that it was something that it made it seem like he was representing Trump could do whatever he wanted, like he had total immunity as president.
So here we go. They've got a video here that starts with Hannity, but it looks like it leads into the comments that he's suing for. So let's take a look at this.
Oh, Sean Hannity.
Professor Dershowitz said this.
The only thing that would make a quid pro quo unlawful is if the quo were in some way illegal. Now, we talked about motive. There are three possible motives that a political figure can have. One, a motive in the public interest, and the Israel argument would be in the public interest. The second is in his own political interest, and the third, which hasn't been mentioned, would be in his own financial interest, his own pure financial interest, just putting money in the bank. I want to focus on the second one for just one moment. Every public official that I know believes that his election is in the public interest. And mostly you're right. Your election is in the public interest. And if a president does something which he believes will help him get elected in the public interest, that cannot be the kind of quid pro quo that results in impeachment.
Fake news CNN decided to deceptively edit those remarks and make it seem like Professor Dershowitz was saying something he did not say. Now, because the network on many occasions aired just the second half of that quote, which you can now see on your screen, and took those comments purposely out of context, now, as the lawsuit lays out, fake news CNN and their actions were part of an alleged effort to smear the professor and destroy his credibility. We reached out to fake news.
So there you go. There's our quote that was apparently quote mined by CNN to make it seem like he was saying something he wasn't. That was actually good because that was our full context quote, and it seems like the end of that where he's saying that, if a president believes something is in the best public interest, then it's not illegal, and that was the totality of his statement. So I think he's got, watching that, I think he's got some legs on this lawsuit. I don't know that he'll get 300 million, but yeah, I mean, if they took him completely out of context and made it look like he was saying something he wasn't, then
he was presenting a legal defense during Donald Trump's impeachment trial. I mean, whatever you think about Donald Trump, that's his lawyer's job. That's what he's supposed to do.
And I don't even think Dershowitz was technically Trump's lawyer. I just think that he was consulted in the trial and took anti, but I may be wrong about that. I just think that Dershowitz was consulted as a fucking witness in the trial or whatever for his legal expertise, but I may be wrong. But either way, it does sound like CNN was doing some fuckery here. So
yeah, I guess Fox News got to call them out. I guess it does happen. So, eventually, it does happen.
Yep. Here's some good news. Dozens of Amazon's own products have been reported as dangerous, melting, exploding, or even bursting into flames, and many are still on the market. When firefighters arrived at Austin Parra's home on January 12, 2017, they could see smoke and the charred remnants of an office chair outside. Parra, then 20, had been transported to the hospital. His mother explained to firefighters that her son's chair caught on fire while he was sleeping, and he was burned as he carried the flaming chair outside. Anthony Dignotti, the Wethersfield, Connecticut fire marshal in charge of investigating the incident, could see that the door and door frame were damaged by the fires as well. He noticed bowls strewn about, which he wrote in the official report had been filled with water in an attempt to extinguish the fire. The most interesting detail to Dignotti was a white USB cord. Part of the cord was hanging off the chair and still intact, and we can see it here. Let's see. But the other side was stuck to the seat and had melted into a bare wire. Dignotti ultimately concluded that the fire originated with the cord Parra was using to charge his cell phone. His report stated that the cord experienced a short circuit, and while it's unclear why this happened, the heat produced by the cord ignited the upholstery on the office chair. The cord had been branded with the name of the world's largest online retailer, Amazon. It was sold by one of Amazon's popular private label lines, Amazon Basics, which I bought a bunch of shit from, which offers budget-friendly products, including consumer electronics, household appliances, home goods, and office accessories. Launched in 2009, Amazon Basics has grown to offer more than 5,000 products, according to the retailer. Its mission, identifying everyday items that Amazon can create at similar or higher quality and lower price point, blah, blah, blah. A growing number of Amazon Basics products, which the company promotes heavily on its site, have become bestsellers since the line's inception, and many have ratings above 4 stars, but consumers have raised serious safety concerns about Amazon Basics items and complaints to the government regulators, and in reviews posted on Amazon's own website. Since 2016, at least 1,500 reviews covering more than 70 items have described products exploding, catching on fire, smoking, melting, causing electrical malfunctions, or otherwise posing risks. The reviews identified represent a small fraction of the overall purchases of the products. This is according to Amazon. And fires caused by consumer electronics are not unique to Amazon branded items. See if there's anything in this video worth taking a look at. Looks like not. Okay. So yeah, Amazon is making. Oh, there we go.
Power strips, all reportedly involving Amazon Basics electronics. At Leona and Jimmy Smale's house, it started with a distinct odor.
It smells like just hot plastic.
Leona and Jimmy couldn't find the source of that smell. They even called 911, but it wasn't until after firefighters left that Jimmy discovered the apparent culprit inside a cardboard box.
The smell was overwhelming when I opened the box up.
An Amazon Basics battery charger. The local fire chief told CNN it had overheated and melted.
It was melted straight through. I'm dumbfounded. I have no idea.
Unplugged.
Unplugged.
No source of power to it.
None.
No batteries in the position to be charged.
They weren't even in the box. I didn't even have a battery in the box, no controller, nothing that could produce electric.
CNN found at least 1,500 reviews written about dozens of Amazon Basics products exploding, catching on fire, smoking, melting, causing electrical.
Have you ever had this happen, Paul?
What?
Like
had something like burn out like this? No.
Yeah. I had an Apple charger actually that slowly became yellow and then I started seeing sparks and shit. And it got super hot. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta get rid of this charger.
Yeah. I mean, it does happen, but, this looks like it's a little more than just happenstance here. I mean, these Amazon Basics products seem to be, they're made cheaply. That's the point of them. It's like taking consumer electronic products and accessories for such and making them cheaper. And in doing that, it looks like they're making them dangerous because some of these, you can see they're just catching on fire, melting phones, melting outlets.
Well, you remember that the beginning of Fight Club where they basically explain how these corporations make decisions. So it's like Amazon can make billions of dollars, and if ever found liable, will probably pay small settlements. Oh, you burned down this apartment complex. Well, Amazon will pay you $10 million. We're so sorry. Amazon Basics killed your family. Oh, here's $10 million. But at the meantime, making billions. So it's like they don't give a shit. If I have to pay millions to make billions, who cares? I'm gonna do that anyways.
Yep. Let's see. Just a shit show. Just more late stage capitalism for us here, I guess. I guess with some more late stage capitalism. In one of the most narcissistic stories I've read in a long time, Madonna is co-writing and directing her own biopic.
Dude, applause. I mean, how can you top this, man? Co-write.
I'm writing and directing a movie about my own life.
Madonna,
like what?
Madonna's not co-writing shit, dude. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. So Diablo Cody is co-writing the untold true story that will be produced by Amy Pascal. The Material Girl has lived long enough to tell and express herself on the big screen. Madonna has teamed up with screenwriter Diablo Cody, producer Amy Pascal, and Universal for a biopic on herself. In this case, call it an autobiopic, as the music and pop culture icon is not only co-writing the script with Cody, who won an Oscar for writing Juno, but is directing as well. I want to convey the incredible journey that life has taken me on as an artist, a musician, a dancer, a human being trying to make her way in this world. Oh my God, dude. Dude, could Madonna get any farther up her own fucking ass, dude?
I don't know, man. This is fucking, oh no. This is going to be so bad. Like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
In my mind, they did that Queen biopic, and I was like, okay, you know, this is, I'm not too keen on this, but it's all right. And then they did Rocket Man, which I love. I love Rocket Man. That was a really good sort of way to tell Elton John's life story uniquely.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen Rocket Man yet, no.
I highly recommend that movie, especially if like you were disappointed with like the Queen biopic. But like I'm telling you this, like Elton John was like involved in his biopic, but it was like obviously there's a level of detachment from it. It was like, hey, how did this go? Like give us some details, and then a lot of the stuff was filled in, and you know they found I forget the guy's name, and he did a pretty good job playing Elton John. You know, like so it was, but it's like Madonna's basically just making this fucking circle jerk, like, oh, it's Madonna, and I'm so great, and it's gonna be about me, and I'm gonna co-write it, and I'm gonna direct it. It's like, how are you gonna have any fucking objectivity about yourself? There's just no fucking way. There's no possible way.
The movie's called Me, and it's gonna be about me, and the things that I've done, the journey that I've done as an artist and an iconoclast. Me, the movie coming soon. Oh my God, Madonna, please. She goes on to say, the focus of this film will always be music. Music has kept me going, and art has kept me alive. Oh, fuck.
No,
this is gonna suck.
No.
This is gonna suck so bad, dude. And I even, like, I'm not a Madonna hater. Like, in the 80s, she was an iconoclast. She pushed boundaries. She was a person that, like, took a lot of heat for her freedom of expression and shit. And she was important for that. So I'm not trying to downplay that. And I'm not even saying that like a biopic on Madonna would be a bad thing. But having her involved just ensures that what you're going to get is a self-congratulatory, self-back-patting, fucking malignant, narcissistic screed about what a hard fucking time she had and what a big influence she was. You know what I mean? It's going to fucking suck.
No, dude.
Like, these movies should never be made with the help of the people that are doing them. Like, yeah, get their side of the story, but that's it. You know what I mean? Write these movies objectively as possible. Don't involve the people that are in them, because that's not going to be
consult Madonna, of course. I mean, that's fine. You can consult with Madonna and say, okay, or these details about your life, true. We want to tell the like the story. But like, you're right. I mean, at a certain point, it's like the artist needs to take over. And they need to make something that is either going to be kind of fantasy based, going to be more. Oh, this is like, you know, true what happened. I mean, like, obviously we know it's a movie. You're recreating real life, so it's like you have to figure out what that boundary is. And I think with Madonna, the boundary is going to be like it's just going to be a very self-important. She overcame adversity. She changed the world. Everyone was against her. There's going to be a bunch of. It's just going to be a play-by-numbers biopic, and it's not going to be any fucking good because it's not even going to be objective, and it's not going to really show anything bad about her besides that maybe she's too perfect or she's too out there or something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's especially bad for Madonna to be involved in her own biopic, because it would be like. It'd be like, okay, like a more humble celebrity. Like I'm trying to think of somebody who I think of at the very least as somebody who's self-effacing and humble, who's a celebrity. Like Jon Stewart, or something, from The Daily Show, right? That he's a guy that, like, well, he's big. He's still a big name, still a giant celebrity. I feel like he's got a head on his shoulders that's more normal guy. You know what I mean? And he might be able to, like, look at the fucking movie through the lens of, you know, other people and be self-effacing about it and be more honest. But I'll give you an example of a biopic where the person was not only involved, but wrote, helped to direct and starred in it, is Private Parts by Howard Stern's biopic, which turned out to be really good. It turns out that sometimes unleashing a narcissist on their own life turns out to be good. So maybe we'll eat our words on this.
You know what? Maybe, that's fair enough. I mean, yeah, I do like the movie Private Parts. I don't think it's like a truly great movie, but I think
but it's way better than it has any right to be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's the kind of person that makes it too. I mean, like, look. What kind of, you know, background are they coming from? What are they like? What like? And I feel like with Madonna, you hear the statement she's making about it. She's not going to have that objectivity about her own life. And I mean, of course, no one's going to be super objective about their own life. But to be that intimately involved, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, you telling your own story again, like, that's kind of the life you already lived. So to me, from an artistic sense, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense besides her just being very vain about, and just kind of narcissistic, and just, I don't, if that's the basis for something, that's just not going to work.
I mean, human psychology comes into play here. Humans are very bad at remembering things. Like, that's why eyewitness testimony is so useless in court usually. I mean, it's used a lot, but you can take 10 people who witnessed the same event from 10 different vantage points and get 10 different stories about what went down.
Of course, yeah.
And that just shows you the malleability of human memory. And then you take somebody who's obviously a malignant narcissist like Madonna and unleash her on tell what happened to you. You're going to get something completely fucking different, dude.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm willing to eat my words on this one, but I don't think I'm going to. I think this is going to suck shit.
I have to agree.
So 7 Rochester police officers suspended over the suffocation death of Daniel Prude. Another one of these. I don't know that we've covered it on Flash Friday or the show yet. I don't believe we have. This is relatively new stuff. The mayor of Rochester, New York, has suspended 7 police officers involved in the March death of a black man in custody after raw video footage was released on Wednesday, according to the New York Times. Though officers' body camera footage showed Daniel Prude, who, shocker, I don't know if it says it in this article, is a black man, whose family said he was suffering from a mental health crisis at the time, was forced face down on the ground by police after the 41-year-old had reportedly run outside naked under the influence of PCP and shouted that he had COVID-19. Prude died 7 days later, and the Monroe County Examiner ruled his death a homicide caused by complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said he had not seen the video footage before it was released on Wednesday. For the sake of Mr. Prude's family and the greater Rochester community, I'm calling this case to be concluded as expeditiously as possible. I'm going to go, I'm going to unshare again and see. I thought this had it, but I'm going to see if I can find this Daniel Prude body cam footage, if you don't mind, Scott.
Yeah, I think that's what the relevant thing that people want to see is that footage. Not at all surprising to hear this. Not at all surprising. I mean, like, when Paul I saw, we were looking over the stories, I was kind of just like, oh, okay, well, do you know anything about this? And he's kind of like, I know something about it. And to me, it was just strange because, like, you realize you had a point with this kind of stuff, and I guess many societies have hit over different issues. It's like where you just become like, oh, okay, well, that happened again. Oh, I'll hear another big debate about how it's either not a big deal or overblown or whatever.
Right. So it looks like I've found it here. Let me share that screen up again. I kind of skipped ahead because this is the full incident footage, so it shows him pulling up and everything. But here they have him. Looks like in the street.
Oh, give me that square. Give me that square, man. I mean, can't get these cuffs up on me. In Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Leave me the take my face. No, I got him. I'm already in. Trying to kill me. It's Jesus good on me. My mama from over like grave, man. So good. I need it. Get that shit out my face, man.
You can hear him choking him.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you can hear his voice. You can hear his windpipe being cut off here. It's like, fuck.
And
when is this gonna stop,
Paul? And of course, they had this footage for months. It was.
When is
months.
this shit gonna fucking stop, Scotty? This dude is having a drug-induced mental health crisis, and these cops show up and crush him in the fucking street. When is this shit gonna fucking stop? How many fucking cities need to burn?
Until there's a massive systemic change in how policing is done, how people become qualified to be police, and essentially, like we said, defunding the police, and not really. And of course, the big misnomer about that is, okay, police go bye-bye, and then what happens when violence happens? It's like, no one's saying that. It's saying that, like, when there's a situation like this, maybe 4 fucking thugs from the state with guns that are just going to hold someone down and fucking kill them, the bad apples, whatever you want to call them, maybe they shouldn't have shown up. That's what we're saying. Maybe they're not the best people. If this is the outcome, if this guy dying, if the optimal outcome and people all agree is this guy getting the help he needs, then how is this the right thing? If he's dead.
This footage is fucking outrageous. It is fucking outrageous that this happened to a person in the middle of an American street.
Oh, I agree with you.
Stop. Calm down. Stop.
Yeah, how is choking someone going to calm them down?
Calm down.
Calm down. Calm down. We know you can't breathe. We know we're choking you to death, but calm down, sir. Calm down. Fuck you. These motherfuckers shouldn't just be fired. They should be crushed in the street. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Bring these motherfuckers out in the street and have people from this community and this man's family kneel on their necks until they're dead. Then I bet the next police officer that responds to one of these doesn't use that fucking tactic, does he?
Probably not.
These motherfuckers.
Probably fucking not. If they police it, well, Paul, it's what you can get away with. If these cops would not do this shit if they didn't think they could get away with it. There's no way. If they thought, like, if I kill this guy or do this or hold him down like this, I will go to jail for the rest of my life, or I will lose all this stuff and do all that, they're not going to do it. It's the fact they know that who's here? 4 cops. Whose story is it? Whatever story they tell. Is anyone going to question it? Oh, it was some guy that was high on PCP and he died. You know, I mean, he was just some druggie. He's just dead, right? So that's what the narrative. Basically, that's what people would believe. They go, oh, some drugged out dude. The cops. He fought with the cops. And he died. You know, he shouldn't have filed with the police. Case closed, right? But then we see this body cam footage, and it tells a completely different story. A completely different fucking story. Obviously, this guy needed mental help. He didn't need to be killed by the police. Yet again, it's like he didn't need to be killed. If the outcome is for people to live, how is this the right outcome? It wasn't like he was fighting. We saw him. He was on the ground. 4 cops were standing around him casually. If they thought he was a huge threat, then why weren't they doing something about it then?
Yeah, good question. Good question that I don't have an answer to. I don't know. You want to watch some more of this?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, yeah, I want to see what the... Yeah, there's an ambulance. How is this helping him get into an ambulance?
Yeah, that ambulance is... Those are the people, in addition to some mental health professionals that should have been first responders on this case. The fact that cops showed up to this is the problem. Like, that's what defund the police is about. People think it's about making cops, like, non-existent. No. It's about compartmentalizing what cops do right now. Because right now, cops are first responders on pretty much every type of call, from a mental health check to a person that's on drugs and running naked in the street, to a person with a gun, to a person that's robbing somebody, to a home invasion, to a car accident. It's like, okay, how about we make the cop's job keep the peace? And that's it. So if there is a fight, the cops show up and break up the fight. If there is a protest, the cops are present to make sure that the protest, that nobody gets killed or hurt in the protest, and to help people get out if the protest gets rowdy. The cops are there to keep the peace. Then you've got another office of mental health professionals. So when somebody calls in a 5150, it's not a bunch of cops with guns and tasers and knees that are just aching to lean on the neck of a black man that show up. It's people that care about mental health that show up. And they know how to talk this guy down without restraining him, or restraining him in a way that's not going to fuck him up, and get him the help he needs. Get him to the hospital so he can come down off the PCP, and then get him the help that he needs to stay off of it.
Well, it's because it's basically, it's like, you know, when you have a hammer, every problem is solved by nailing that fucking nail in. And so that's
every
how the
problem starts to look like a nail.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the cops are. The cops are brute force. Now, are there cops that are exception to this? Sure, there definitely are. But most police see the problem as, this guy's acting crazy, he's naked in the streets, here's how it's going to be dealt with. He's going to be arrested, and he's either going to be transported to jail or transported to the hospital. That's it. Those are the solutions. There is no other solution in their mind. Like, they're not mental health professionals. Like, then obviously them being asked to do that is a bridge too far, clearly. I mean, look, police in their own departments have different divisions for that reason. There's some cops that focus on this, like domestic violence, and some cops focus on robberies. And, like, that's why there's a division, because it makes sense. It's the same thing with these kind of calls. When there's a 911 emergency call, who needs to be dispatched? Is it police? Is it the fire department? Is it an ambulance? These are valid questions. And obviously sending cops to every time this happens is not the answer, because they don't...
No.
If these cops were capable of de-escalating the situation, then sure. But how was this a de-escalation? Some guy gets fucking pinned to the ground, gets choked out, gets so hard physically restrained that he dies several days later in jail? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, the contention is that this continued while he was in jail. Like this type of restraint and treatment continued, and that's what led to his death.
Wow. So this is like
this is just showing you how they. This is the only footage they have of it. This is just showing how they treated him at the arrest.
Because he doesn't need to be in a jail.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and I don't even really care if this new police department is compartmentalized and we call them all police. Like, I'm fine with that. It's like you said, there are specialized police down to the gnat's ass. Like, a lot of police departments, like in big cities, have art theft departments where it's like the cops, all they do is work these high profile art theft and forgery cases. And that's all they do. Right. So I'm fine with that. Have a specialty group of people in the police force that respond to 5150 calls, to mental health crises that are not, they don't have guns. They're trained to deal with people who are having mental crises and how to fucking subdue and restrain those people without hurting them and take them to the mental health facility they need to be at. I'm fine with that. If they want to call themselves police, but there needs to be a division of labor. These types of cops that are showing up here need to show up when there's a person with a gun robbing a store or a giant riot going on in the middle of a street or a big gang fight or something. That's what these cops are there for, to keep the peace.
Exactly.
This naked man in the middle of the street having a mental health crisis while he is disturbing the peace of his fucking neighbors, he is not a direct threat to them. Not in the way that somebody with a gun or a knife would be. They need to send a different fucking unit of police officers to deal with people like this, period.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, I was gonna say, of course, if they, this person is dangerous or a danger to others, then that's a different story. But you need someone there that can make that evaluation before especially someone that has a mental health crisis, before just simply sending in the police. If you just send in these types of police, it's just too often that people get shot or people get strangled or people get suffocated or whatever the fuck it is. It can't happen.
Calm down, man.
Relax, dude. Okay, I mean it. You end up getting taken. I mean it. My people stay God.
How can you relax when people are holding you to the ground? That's the whole thing. It's basically contrary to what you would do if you're a person. If you're in distress and someone's like, "Stop moving, stop doing this. Let me just hold you down and force you." Like, it's not natural for a person to fucking lay on the ground with people on top of them, holding them down, shoving their head into the ground. That's not normal. So of course your only natural reaction is to be like, I don't want my head to be in the ground. It's instinctual. Especially
not when they're choking you. It's like they're giving such contrary instructions. They're choking this guy. They're crushing his windpipe. And then they're telling him, calm down, dude. Chill out. And it's like the human body doesn't do that when its air is cut off. The human body does the opposite. It goes into fight or flight.
Exactly.
Like you're forcing this guy to struggle harder by crushing him. You idiots.
Security outpost, please.
Get on me. Give me the gun. Give me the gun. I mean, take this on my face. I mean,
stop spitting.
So there's the knee.
I don't know. It's freezing out here.
Here they are. Look at that cop. Let me back that up. I want to show you that cop putting his whole weight on this dude's head. Do you see that?
Yep.
You see how he's planking basically, and he's got all his weight shoving down on this person's head.
Yeah, we're actually looking at his body cam, and the crazy
look at this.
It doesn't even look that bad, honestly. From the angle we're at, it looks like he's just holding, like he's using his arm strength, but it's actually using
his whole body weight.
He's like in a push-up position around this dude's neck.
He's planking on the dude. He's literally planking on the dude's neck.
Fuck, dude. Oh my god. How do you do this kind of shit to people, man?
He's been out naked for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I wonder why he's been out.
You can see his knee there. And he's out naked in the snow in the middle of the street.
It's just a horrible thing, man.
You good, man?
Fuck you, dude. Are you... Yeah, Mark.
No.
Are you good?
I just kneeled on your neck for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Are you good? Are you good? You were screaming for your life and calling for your mother. Are you good? You're calling for your people to help you and asking me please to stop crushing you. And now you're all quiet and stiff and cold. Are you good?
Are you good?
Are you good, bro?
It's bullshit, dude. These cops knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. This guy, it's all an act. Are you good, dude? Oh, I care about you, dude. Are you good? Yeah, or whatever, dude. You fucking just planked on his fucking neck. I mean, dude, you had your arms around his neck, and you had all of your body weight, like you're about to do like a fucking push-up like this. And
That's fucking insane.
Then you're gonna tap the dude's head, and it's some bullshit joke. You good, bro? Hey, bro, you good?
Bro? You good, bro? You okay? No, clearly not.
He's
Clearly
dead.
He isn't.
Oh, he's
he
not
wasn't
dead.
okay when you showed up, and now he's half dead.
Well, I guess he's not dead.
Congratulations.
I guess he survived this.
Where's he going? This is east side town?
Fillmore and West.
Puking?
For male outside that night.
Oh, he's puking.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Water. You see all that water came out of his mouth?
No, I didn't see it, but I see it now.
Gee, I wonder why that could happen.
You puking? Oh, look.
I saw the ambulance coming.
Doesn't even look like he has chest compressions. Roll him over on the side.
Yeah, why is this guy he's still being laid on the ground?
He's still naked on the ground in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, like why is
it's
this happening? Like, yeah, why can't you?
They killed him out here. Like that's what happened. They injured him out here, and then he got into fucking custody, and he died several days later from what they did to him, and continued to do to him while they had him in custody, probably. No footage of that one though.
He started throwing up. Now it looks like he doesn't even have chest compressions.
Joey!
Man. Oh, can you save this guy's life now? Oh.
Yeah. We just kneeled on his neck for a bunch of time. Let's save his life now. Fucking cops.
Oh man.
Well, that's actually those were actually the EMTs trying to save his life. So
no, nothing. No disrespect to them, but the cops, like, I just can't believe it's like what a fucking act it is at this point. It's like you guys stay back. Okay, yeah, now we pretty much killed him. See if you can bring him back to life. It's like, okay.
We'll hold him, get the cuffs off,
Yep.
and we're throwing him up on here and getting him in the car.
Can you uncuff this man who you basically killed? Wow, thank you, officer. Thank you. Oh, great. Oh,
He
my
started
God.
expelling like all the clear liquid, like he was throwing up.
So, PCP can cause what we call excited delirium.
Yeah, I know what excited delirium is.
I guarantee you that's why he coded.
So, I think that's
so
probably
basically,
pretty much
you're
it.
yeah. So it's basically like, oh, I know what it is. If you know what it is, then okay. Whatever.
So yeah, that's our latest. Let's read a little bit. I don't think there's much more. But yeah, they fired the officers that were on scene that day.
Well, that's
about it.
Okay, well, I think the other story said that. This one just says they're suspended. I think maybe that's the next
suspended. Right.
I think the follow-up story you pulled, they actually ended up firing the officers involved in this incident.
Yep, here it is. Rochester mayor fires police chief and suspends 2 city officials over Daniel Prude's death. So the police chief got his ass nuked for this, apparently. CBS News reports that the move comes following an investigation by the city's deputy mayor into how city officials behaved following Daniel Prude's death. Warren said Monday was police chief LaRon Singletary's last day with the Rochester Police Department. Additionally, she suspended communications director Justin Raj and the city's top lawyer Tim Curtin without pay. Singletary intended to retire at the end of the month, announcing his resignation following the outrage surrounding the body camera footage of Prude's death. So no pension for you, motherfucker. In his report, Deputy Mayor James Smith described a culture of insularity, acceptance, and quite frankly, callousness that was pervasive in the police department. According to his report, the mayor's office was not notified of Prude's death until mid-April, 8 days after the police union was allegedly informed and sent body camera footage.
What a shock.
From CBS News. But even when Chief Singletary told Raj about Prude's death in an April 10th email, he mischaracterized the medical examiner's findings, Smith wrote. In an email included in the report, Singletary said that the medical examiner found that Prude died due to PCP intoxication, excited delirium, and, quote, resisting arrest, when in fact the report concluded he died from PCP intoxication, excited delirium, and complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint.
What a euphemistic
that was not
way.
mentioned.
Yeah, what a euphemistic way of saying the police strangled him to death.
Yeah.
Or suffocated
The chief
him.
did not provide the the chief did not provide the medical examiner's report or the body cam footage. This email is decidedly inconsistent with the interactions between previous chiefs and communications director and could be seen as less than forthright, Smith wrote. Another, can you put it any lighter? Less than forthright.
Less than forthright. You gotta love it.
It must be asked why Chief Singletary presented Director Raj with such a limited view of the situation. The report is also critical of Raj and Curtin, the lawyer, finding that they didn't do their due diligence to obtain the body camera footage, and they failed to properly inform Mayor Warren once they understood the significance of the case. Smith's report acknowledges that Raj was only on 2 email chains related to the case, but said Director Raj missed these opportunities, did not review the body cam footage, or notify the mayors of his findings.
The police basically intentionally withheld all the evidence from the mayor's office because obviously they felt this mayor was not going to be favorable to them.
They saw the footage.
Yeah,
because they took a look at the body cam footage and they were like, we killed this guy, so let's he died of PCP. Just send that on.
Yep.
So this is actually good news because the people that are most responsible for the cover-up of this, which are really the people that allow this type of culture to continue in the police department, all lost their jobs, which is great. The person directly in charge and the 2 people on the chain that are supposed to catch malfeasance, the city's top lawyer and this other guy, I can't remember what he was, police commissioner or whatever the fuck. All 3 of these people had a chance to fucking come clean about this and bring these cops to justice, and they all decided to cover it up. And that's what allows these things to keep happening out in the streets. So this is good news. What happened here today was good. This sends a message.
I said, but Paul, remember, it's just some bad apples, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, because here's how that argument just falls apart completely. Because we've seen it. It went up the chain of command at the police department. They all knew about it. And instead of going, well, there has to be a full investigation now, it was, how can we cover this up as much as possible, obfuscate the truth, send very opaque sort of emails to the mayor's office, and when they're questioning us about this, oh yeah, this guy died. I mean, he was fucking high on, like I said, he was high. Just what I said a minute ago, they did the exact character. Oh, he was high on PCP. It was just some fucking crazy guy on the street, and he died.
Just some crazy fuck, high on PCP. You know how these
what can you do?
These blacks you know how these blacks are with their PCP, and he resisted arrest out there, and we had to, but he died of PCP. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's the story.
Is the PCP what done him in? But yeah, good for this city for taking the fucking initiative here, because I gotta tell you, this is the power of these protests. People hate these fucking protests, but I gotta tell you, if this had happened and these Black Lives Matter anti-police brutality protests hadn't been started across cities and counties in this country, this would have been swept under the rug. This whole incident would have just been neatly swept under the rug, where the corpses of probably 1,000 black men are already there. So the fact that something actually happened with this brings a big old fucking smile to my face. The fact that a bunch of pigs lost their pensions and jobs over this brings an even bigger smile to my face. So fuck you for killing this man in the street, and I hope you all fucking rot in the hell that I know in my heart of hearts doesn't exist.
But if it does, we wish you would go there.
Rot in peace. I wish I could visit you, not go there myself, but just visit you and see what kind of special torment you get.
Well, Paul, we got to be honest. If there is a hell, I'll definitely be seeing you there, buddy.
So here's a good one. And looking at things, probably our last pleb story of the day. So plebs, get ready to get the fuck out. California official implores Trump to take climate change seriously. Trump insists it'll start getting cooler. Yeah.
I like that answer.
Cooler. It's going to start getting cooler any old time.
I mean, eventually he's going to be right.
Climate change is real, and it's most certainly making the West Coast wildfires worse. But even when faced with that reality in California on Monday, President Trump turned to his old favorite advice of forest management, and then seemed to fall flat out doubt climate change altogether. Hundreds of thousands of acres of land are still on fire throughout California, Oregon, and Washington. In California alone, 3.2 million acres have burned so far this year. That's a profound... That's 3.2 million acres of forest.
That's insane, dude.
That's more than I've ever heard, by the way. This fire season, I lived in California my whole life, and California gets wildfires. It just happens. I've never heard a number like that in all my 40 years. This is the worst that it's ever been in the time that I've been alive, and maybe in recorded history in California in terms of fires.
Yeah.
24 people have died. The biggest wildfires the state has ever seen. But just like he did during California's then record wildfire season 2 years ago, Trump got off Air Force One in California on Monday and immediately suggested that forest management, raking forest forests and performing controlled burns, for example, could solve all of California's problems. California Governor Gavin Newsom quickly took Trump to task on that statement during a meeting later that Monday. We can watch that here. Let me get this going here. It's going to ask me to fucking log in again.
Sign in.
All right. Let's pause this and get it back to the beginning, full screen it, and take a look.
One thing is fundamental.
This is very quiet. Okay, there we go.
Land in this state is federal forest land. 3% is California. So we really do need that support. We need that emphasis of engagement. And we are fully committed to working with you to advance that cause. And final point, I'd be negligent, and this is not, and we've known each other too long, and as you suggest, the working relationship I value. We obviously feel very strongly that the hots are getting hotter, the dries are getting drier. When we're having heat domes, the likes of which we've never seen in our history, the hottest August ever in the history of the state, the ferocity of these fires, the drought, 5+ years, losing 163 million trees to that drought, something's happened to the plumbing of the world. And we come from a perspective, humbly, where we submit the science is, in and observed evidence is self-evident, that climate change is real, and that is exacerbating this. And so I think there's an area of at least commonality on vegetation, forest management, but please respect, and I know you do, the difference of opinion out here as it relates to this fundamental issue on the issue of climate change.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Jed, please.
That's like the most. Go ahead.
That's not actually the video that I thought it was. So let me see if I can find that. Let me unshare again.
That was like the most padded sort of way I've ever seen someone interact with anyone else. Like, oh, with respect, I think there could possibly be commonality. It's like you have to treat Trump like a child, essentially.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find this.
That was astonishing to see someone use that much sort of padding and softness with words in order to talk to somebody that, ostensibly is an adult and can just be like, look, we think climate change is real. Maybe you don't.
Yep.
But at the same time, we're seeing the evidence here. So, okay, this is actually great. This is great.
Yeah, so this is the video I thought we were watching, but it was interesting to hear Gavin Newsom supplicate himself to Trump's ego. That was very strange. This is a different official. I forget his name. Kind of taking Trump to task a little harder at the same summit. So here we go.
Science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
Donald Trump.
I don't think science knows, actually. Well,
I don't think science knows, actually.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, jury's out on that. I don't think science knows. Oh, my God. Oh boy, we're fucked, Scotty. I mean, I know you know this. I tell you this every time we do one of these shows, but goddamn, man, we are fucked.
Yeah, the governor of California, please, Trump, take this seriously. Trump.
Oh.
Yeah. Then they have basically Trump and his I think it was like the Department of Homeland Security guy, and there's like, yeah, climate change. What a myth. Of course, it's not real. Is it going to rain in the winter? Will there be snow on the mountains of California? And everything's fine. Like, okay, great.
Damn, look at this sculpted jawline over here on the left that we could get. You see that?
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what, I saw an ad for something like this, too. It was like, you feel like you're looking old and shit. It's like there's this jaw thing. It's like, it's 40 pounds of pressure. You bite down on this thing, and it makes you look younger.
This bitch had like the full blown jowl going on, and then look at her now. She had like the Winston Churchill jowls going on.
Her jowls got fucking swole, dude. That's what happened.
Yeah. She's like now she's ripped in here. It looks like she could just bite your fucking face off now. Damn. I almost want to click that. But you know what I want to do more, Scotty?
What's that?
Kick these fucking plebs out of here. Plebs, I don't know what to tell you. TJ usually handles this. Scotty, do you want to handle it this time, or do you want to let me handle it?
Dude, I think you sound like you're itching to handle it. It's like you're
I mean,
itching.
I don't know what tact I'm going to take with them. I'm usually pretty mean to the plebs. I'm just going to tell you, like, this is half the show, in case you didn't know. The other half is on our Patreon for $5 a month. And you get that and an extra show every week and patron exclusive stuff. And there's a $10 tier that gets you even more.
More shit.
So what the fuck are you doing here going like, well, I guess it's all the flash fraud I get today. Guess you're going to wait till next week. You don't have to wait till next week. In the description, there's our Patreon. Become a patron today. $5. Watch the rest of this.
Become a patron! Or don't.
And with that, get the fuck out.
Oh, plebs, it's time to get the fuck out. Unless you want to stay here and rub coconut oil over my balls. Oh, yes. I had the time of my life. And owing on to you. Yeah. Come on, rub my balls. Yeah. You've been waiting for too long.